This intervention focuses on the challenges and possibilities of turning the archive into something active and in constant transition, a virtual space of knowledge and collaborative thinking, an architectural prototype and projection of the mind. As described by Donna Haraway, the word Chthulucene is a simple one. It is a compound of two Greek roots that together name a sort of time-place for learning to stay with the trouble. This is the mission of W21, Women 21st Century, a curatorial, collective, and ongoing research project created by Valeria Facchin, together with Delaney Joy Linden and Indrani Saha, and focusing on post-feminist and intersectional practice in the fields of arts, science, and technology. The mission of W21 is to trace the mutable mobile of the woman and follow her path from node to node. In other words, the project interviews with the aim of connecting her life and work to the past, present, and future, a network of temporality, and linking her to other contemporary practitioners, creating an interdisciplinary network of women. Hacking the historical archive not by rewriting history, but rather by adding to it with stories of women and their networks is more urgent than ever. In other words, our task is to stir up a potent response to devastating events, settling troubled waters and rebuild quiet places. W21 questions the patriarchal and capitalist system of knowledge by refusing to use a vertical system of information. The archive is mostly perceived as something passive and latent, an enclosed and inaccessible place, an insurmountable tower intended not only as a physical location, but also as a projection of the mind. The archive symbolizes, with its stratified structure, the mind of a white privileged Western man. In a way, it represents an empire of knowledge. The definition of the archive itself confirms this consideration, describing it as a collection of historical documents or records providing information about a place, institution, or group of people. W21 inspiration, historically, takes from Christine de Pizan's manuscript of the Book of the Cities of Women. Christine was disheartened by what she saw as the misogyny of much court literature, especially the famous French dream vision, The Romance of a Rose. She decided to write a work which would treat women in a more positive light. In the City of Ladies, Christine imagines falling asleep and being visited by the three personified virtues, reason, rectitude, and justice, who arrive and tell her that she has been chosen by God to set the record straight about women. They direct her to build a metaphorical city which will house a group of worthy heroines and protect women against attack. Christine emphasizes women's spaces, self-defense, and memory as keys to the creations of women's history and future. All three keys transcend time, just like her monumental city. Moreover, the act of breaking from misogyny requires assistance from other women. Friendship and community are crucial in establishing a strong feminist platform. To help women remember their predecessor and their virtues, Christine bases her women's history on a historical model of a material retention, the memory palace. To recall the feminist, one would imaginatively walk through the building recalling each person. By making each woman serve dual purposes, Christine is able to extend the memory and create a mnemonic matrix for future literary creations by women. W21 approaches the urgency to reinvent the archive from a similar approach by adopting an online methodological model that can traverse oceans, borders, and walls through autogenerative and transmedia storytelling. W21 represents our memory palace. Taking inspiration from Phrygia Corinthe's model of 6 degrees of separation, Karen Barad's feminist technoscience theory, and Donna Haraway's Cyborg and Companion Species Manifesto, W21 aims to challenge the never-evolving nature of the archive and its fixed, discriminating taxonomy. Theorized in 1929, 6 degrees of separation asserts that we are 6 steps away from each other, while feminist technoscience assumes that science is entwined with the common interests of society. Ecofeminism, on the other hand, advances female values, strengthening the bonds between women and nature by critiquing their parallel oppressions and encouraging an ethic of caring and a politics of solidarity. In order to invent a new system of knowledge, we must reshape the way information are gathered. The task at W21 falls in line with Griselda Pollock's suggested correction of a total reconstructing of the historical canon, as presented in Alfred H. Barr's Cubism and Abstract Art diagram. Analyzing the activities of women cannot merely involve mapping women onto existing schemata. While prominent reinterpretations of Barr's diagram exist as part of Leah Dicker's Man Inventing Abstraction, we are not in the long retrospective position to delve back into an archive to draw out forgotten names and relations. Differently from an archive, W21 doesn't simply store the information, it activates it. In order to do so, our W21 map uses social network analysis, a process of investigating social structures through the use of networks and graph theory in order to map our system. By doing so, we are replicating a decentralized networking model where every node is connected to a new one. In this way, the source is, at the same time, an entry and an output point of information. We found ourselves in the place of Alfred H. Barr. W21 is compelled to rethink structural mappings of female practitioners of our immediate past and present and immune to archival fever. We consider extra interdisciplinary and non-canonical actors not as relegated to red-inked boundaries or external to the chart, but as deeply implicated in the more three-dimensional network we are hoping to construct. Moreover, an additional deviation can be found via aspirations of such project. It is our hope that this diagramming becomes generative, autopoietic, and not dictated by the hand of a single maker. Collectivity matters. This is why at W21 we made the decision to not upload any personal portraits on our social media, but only the name of a person interviewed. We want to give value to the words used by women, and go beyond a culture where who you are, gender, class, and race is defined by a picture. W21 is also always evolving. Our W21 questionnaire is at the core of W21 practice and research. 5 simple and immutable set of questions are circulated every year exploring a specific theme. The theme for W20 is disembodiment and aims to question our perception of the body and the terrorism connected to feeling of disembodiment. The questionnaire is then sent to one woman, and after she writes her own story, she circulates the question outwardly among her own network. This expanded field of women will showcase that the archive is always developing, always changing, always, as Bruno Latour says, hovering in a set of relations. Collaborations are organically born out of these exchanges as a tentacular thinking. Tentacularity is about life lived along lines, and such a wealth of lines, not as point, not as spheres, but as connections. The manifesto is then the result of a collective effort, and it's the combination of all the themes we will hope to explore in the future years. At the end of each year, the collected questionnaires will be processed by a software, tracing the general trend of our present time and becoming the primary materials for artist commissions, essays, and panel discussions. What will be proved through the evolving nature of this project is that historical identity is not fixed, stories are not reductive, and women cannot be pinned down. The very mutability and mobility performed in this curatorial collective is as entangled as the ecosystem itself. Go to www.women21stcentury.com and become part of our community by sending your contribution.